Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Weekly Sports Hype. I'm Micah Murphy again. This is my partner Mario Velarde, and here we are again, week 2, and we're here to cover everything sports hype related once again. We wanted to go ahead and start by just recapping the week that was. We had a lot of events that we hyped up this week. Some of them lived up to the reputation, some of them didn't. We just want to go ahead and get right to the punch right here. We spent a lot of time last week covering a lot of different events, so this week we're going to go ahead and get right into it. And speaking of getting to the punch, why don't we start by recapping boxing? Let's talk a little boxing from last week. We had the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight, where he fought Vera, and then we also had the Stevenson and Cloud fight. Talk to me about what happened. Were they overhyped? Did they live up to them?
We agreed that the Chavez-Vera fight was going to be all hype. Interestingly enough, the fight was not hyped. Chavez was all hype. The guy came in overweight. It was scheduled for 168 pounds. He showed up at 172, and the week before announced it. They even had to pay Vera some extra money to actually keep the fight on. The guy, it was one of those fights where one guy's landing all the punches, and one guy's big punches are the equalizing factor, right?
True.
They just gave it to Chavez. A lot of people, including myself, thought it was an upset. I thought Vera's activity was just a lot of activity. There was one point where I'm like, wow, God, Chavez looks like he's throwing one punch every 10 seconds. I started timing it, and sure enough, it was one punch every 10 seconds. Terrible. Chavez is really going downhill. Those guys look like they're headed for a rematch sometime in December. The other one, the one I thought was really going to be hyped up, and I was hyped up about, was the Adonis Stevenson Tavares Cloud fight. Tavares Cloud has never been down, former champion, last loss to Bernard Hopkins.
What happened here? What happened? I mean, is Cloud just that bad, or Stevenson, did he just step his game up and really show the whole boxing world what he can really do?
Stevenson's making himself a superstar. He used to campaign as a super middleweight, 168 pounds. The guy moved up for the Chad Dawson fight, knocks out Chad Dawson in one round. All of a sudden, it's like, wow, who's this guy? Emmanuel Stewart used to train him, and he said Emmanuel Stewart told him, hey, if you ever get a chance to fight Chad Dawson, fight him, you will beat him. Knocks him out. Sure. He says the same thing about Tavares Cloud. He takes on Tavares Cloud, who actually only had one loss. That one loss to Hopkins. Had a bunch of knockouts, really high knockout ratio. He fights with Stevenson. It's a one-sided affair.
He clearly outfought him the whole fight.
He just outpunched him.
Now they're talking possibly Stevenson versus Andre Ward. What do you think? Hype or not hype?
That's the fight I'd love to watch.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah.
I'm hyped for it. That would be ideal, but we'll see if it actually comes to fruition.
He's probably going to fight. In fact, he's scheduled to fight a 6'3" Brit named Tony Bello.
Okay.
And they're saying if he can get past Brit, then probably Carl Froch or Andre Ward.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll come down to it. I mean, we got a lot to get into in Niners and Raiders. Some good things, some bad things. We want to recap last week, Niners and Raiders?
Yeah, why don't you? I really thought the Niners were not going to pull that off, Micah.
Look.
It's like you were just reading the future there.
What did I say? You come out, you start Frank Gore. Yep. His stock was on the rise. Mm-hmm. He looked like the Frank Gore of 2-3 years ago. Legs looked fresh. He was running between the tackles. Everything you expect out of Frank Gore, and he delivered. We really needed that. We learned a lot about the Rams, too. I mean, their defense is shaky at best right now. So you can't hold too much stock in that game, in my personal opinion. However, it's a road game. It's a Thursday night game on a short week. And we came out and straight dominated. I was really proud. I said we'd win by 2 to 3 touchdowns. Sure enough, over 3 touchdowns. Frank Gore put up over 100 yards and a touchdown. We punched our ticket to the win that time. And looking forward to Houston this week. I'm thinking we have a tough matchup. We're going to Houston. We are getting a lot of our guys back. We should have Patrick Willis back. Should have Osmoa back. We're looking like Vernon Davis is going to be somewhat healthy still and playing again. So I think he gives us a solid chance to win this week. However, at the same time, Texas is no pushover. You got to expect Matt Schaub, has got to have some kind of bounce back, or else, things are going to get chaotic there. Both teams are fighting to stay above 500 or not drop below 500 at least. The winner will go to 3-2, the loser to 2-3. Both teams with huge playoff implications on the line, and although it's still early, you'd hate to see the Niners drop a road game here. We do have the couple teams in our near future that we really should get W's against. Arizona, we've got Miami, a couple other teams coming up, and I think we're a solid lock to take some wins home before the bye week. But at the same time, all focus on Houston right now. I'm confident we can give them a tough game. I'm not 100% on our win this week. I feel like we can get it, but at the same time, they're no pushover. They're going to come ready to play.
Man, me and you are on a different page here. I'm high on the Niners right now. I really thought they needed a win. I really thought they needed to ride Frank Gore in that run game, and they stuck to it. Their run pass was really lopsided towards the run, right?
Sure.
They had a lot of injuries, a lot of question marks, and they responded with a resounding win over a team that they couldn't beat last year when they did go to the Super Bowl.
Sure. I mean, we're up and down this whole season. It looks like 1 week we look good, 1 week we look like we're struggling. Next week, it's still maybe it's too early to figure out. I do like the team, but I'm just saying, going to Houston, it's a tough place to play. You think that the Texans are going to hold no bars in this one and just let the floodgates go, and hopefully we can come out on top.
I'm interested to see how they do against that Houston defense with J.J. Watts and Cushing. I'm thinking the Niners, man. I just think Schaub's struggling. He's going to want to have a bounce-back game, but in big games, Matt Schaub does not deliver.
You're right.
He's a franchise quarterback who people are realizing is not a franchise quarterback, and I'm picking the Niners in that game.
Good. I'm glad I got you sold. Because I'm actually looking forward to the Raider game this week. I'm not too hyped on it, but I'm looking forward to see how they bounce back. I'd like to see Terrell Pryor get back in there. Obviously, that was a big deal that the Raiders lost this game to the 0-3 Redskins coming in. I thought it was a game you guys couldn't afford to lose. That it was just really not a must-win, but if you're going to finish 8-8, 9-7, and really just take that next step forward, you got to beat the Skins at home. But man, you got to look at that glaring factor. No Terrell Pryor in the lineup. Never thought at the beginning of the year this would be this big of an issue in Week 5, did we?
Oh man, no. Matt, I don't know if you remember, but Matt Flynn was brought in to be the starter. Matt Flynn was given a salary bump, guaranteed $6 million for the season. The guy has just been demoted to third string.
I'd hate to say it, man. It's just another Raider woe, But hopefully it won't go that route with Pryor coming back.
I hope not.
Maybe we'll see something from the undrafted rookie that might give us some hope for the future as a Pryor backup, huh?
I'm hyped. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
It used to be that the NFC East was the toughest division in NFL.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Washington.
Smash mouth football, physical
Eagles.
teams, good defenses,
how
solid
many
offenses.
NFC championships did they go to in the 2000s, right?
Yep.
The Giants, a couple of Super Bowl wins over the last few years. The Cowboys, a team
They're
that's always good,
there.
but
They're
can't do it in
always
the
relevant.
playoffs,
Yeah.
right? But this year, their only win against the AFC West was that win in Oakland.
Yep.
I was there, I'm watching it, and just thinking to myself, wow, Reggie McKenzie cannot pick a freaking quarterback. Terrell Pryor was Al Davis's last pick. They bring in Flynn, who couldn't drive the freaking ball down the field. The guy threw, sacked 7 times, fumbled 2 times, and throws a pick 6.
Yeah.
The defense did their job. They held the Redskins passing to about 220 yards, where they've been averaging 300 yards prior to that. They held Griffin to 10 yards rushing, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 passing touchdown. The defense was keeping us in the game. Flynn was doing everything to give it away.
I agree.
I'm watching this game and I'm thinking, wow, if Pryor were in there, we weren't just missing Pryor. McFadden had a hamstring.
Does not help. Here we go again down the McFadden injury road.
And then Marcel Reese had a knee injury.
And if you don't have McFadden and you don't have Reese to back him up, and you have to rely on Rashad Jennings or whoever it may be in this case, yeah, I hear you. You're not starting out on the right foot.
No, and Rashad Jennings did a decent job. He had over 60 yards rushing. He had over 60 yards receiving. But he just doesn't have that explosive. He doesn't have that hit factor that McFadden has. When McFadden touches the ball and he gets out of the field, that guy has speed that you're not going to catch up to. Jennings, of course, doesn't bring that. He doesn't bring that versatility factor that Reese does. It was a tough game. Big game against San Diego.
Division game.
The entire division looks improved.